It's awesome, give me the plate. No, this doesn't mean she knows what a plate is. You see why? Why would I say this doesn't mean she knows what a plate is? There's no differentiation. There's no other thing on there that she could choose from. She probably doesn't know how to give. And whatever is there, she's giving me. So be careful with that when you're doing tabletop instruction. Alright, so, but because, let's say you tried with distractors, with prompting, and they're just not getting it, you could go back just to one item on the table, the card item. Give me the plate. Amazing, that's the plate, now you can tell the story. So she's associated that anytime she gives me this, she's gonna get that. She gives me this, she gets that. So, and this is what she wants. She doesn't care about this. You know, that's fine. But because I gave her this, the next time, no, give me the plate. She's more likely to choose the plate. Awesome. Get that reinforced up. And then you can build on it and not need more. What's valuable about teaching a child to give you a plate? It allows them to identify plates and they think about the social setting. Why would it be beneficial? There's no food on the plate. There's food. Think about it. Anybody here parents?
I'm a child.
I know you're the child. Anybody here parent? Why would it be beneficial?
Obviously, you know, to take up command or to respond to command.
Yeah, but why plate? Yes, they eat those, right? Imagine they're at home. Yes, definitely, yes. But I'm answering the plate question because notice, I am not necessarily going to teach her to give me a copies. Necessarily, maybe. But this is way more meaningful to teach than this. Because when they're at home and mommy and daddy says, give me please, they should, we want them to be able to, right? Or if they're sorting stuff, they're washing the dishes with mommy and daddy and know they need to sort. Mommy says, all right, where are the plates? They can identify the plates and store the plates. It's very socially significant to teach them. Social significance means it's meaningful in their natural environment. They're going to actually have an opportunity to do it in real life. If they're not going to have an opportunity to do it in real life, it's a waste of time to teach it. With our kids, the time is essential. You don't have enough time to get them caught up with their peers, so you have to do the everyday meaningful things as soon as possible. Yeah? And yes, teacher asked, can we apply this to other things like colors and shapes and the words? Yeah, definitely. So, I don't understand why children give you a hard time. You're so silly. Right? So you could do, this is a shape sorter, right? I love to use shape sorters because there's so much you can teach with just a shape sorter. You can do colors, you can do shapes, and you can use them as building blocks as well and make a house and all that. And then you can actually use the shape sorter itself the way it's supposed to be used. So I like having this around. But yeah, so same concept. So DTT is a concept. It's not rigid in the sense that you can only use it with one type of thing. You can apply it to any skill that you're teaching. In principle, DTT simply means I'm presenting multiple trials back to back to back, focus on a specific skill area or a specific response that I want to teach. And I do them back to back, I do them quickly, I prompt and I create my prompts quickly. My hope is to get an independent correct response at the end. Try your best to get to an independent correct response. If you're not able to because the child is taking a while to learn it and you just started, that's okay. You do it again tomorrow, you do it again the next day, the next day, the next day. Plan to do it every day until you start getting some independence. Oh, question is how long should you be doing the DTT set? Depends on the child. In most, the whole thing in one go. Or do you keep going? So the minimum trials I usually set for my team is 5 trials back to back. So if you have a child who also struggles with attention and sustained attention and focus, we'll just do 5 trials and then we're done. How long those 5 trials will take is literally what I did earlier. Give me that, give me that, give me that, and give it 5 and then done. It doesn't take more than 15 minutes to do 5 trials. For our clients who can sit and focus a little longer, my max is usually 10 to 15 trials. So 10 trials, if you get one independent, you stop. 10 trials where you didn't get an independent, and you think you can get an independent, max 15. 10 trials, you didn't get an independent, and you don't feel hopeful that you get it, stop. How long that takes is max 30 minutes when you put it together. But don't focus more on the time itself. Focus on your pacing. Your pacing has to be solid. It can't be too long, drawn out. And your prompt feeding has to be consistent. That good for everybody? Yeah? Anybody wants to try? BTT with the blue colors. Nobody wants to try? You, you're the teacher, not the student. I can be a challenging student this time. Can you hold it in?
I like dinosaurs, so she's going to use dinosaurs as her resource. You think how that interesting is done? I do have body parts as well, inside body parts. So the more things you can have,
the more things you can have for your kids, the better. The internal body parts are for the higher functioning kids. So that do that. Alright, so Julie. She's gonna be the instructor and I'm the student. She's gonna present the SD. The SD is will stick with give me.
your favorite color.
Oh, you want to see the child? Okay. She's a child, you're still a teacher.
I'm gonna be set down.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Alright. Which one?
It's okay?
Yeah. So, great. So the first thing she's doing is she's getting on some items that teacher loves so she can choose what she wants to reinforce discipline. Doing this, it's best to do with a child who can actually choose the form of physical thing. For some kids, having it out might be too distracting. So you might use, remember we had the choice boards with the pictures on there. You might use that instead, so they see the picture and they can choose the picture that of the thing that they want. Or if they're fine with the physical item, you can have it also.
Hi, fish.
How are you? Not my kind of child.
See if you can get her.
Can you pick something up that you like?
Alright, so a child has engaged in problem behavior. What do you think is the function of this behavior, just based on what you saw? It could be escape. What else could it be? The same, escape avoidance. What else could it be? What else could it be? Could be attention too, like she wants that reaction. Right? I don't know exactly what it is, this is just one instance, but bear those things in mind. If you start an instruction and your child threw something on the floor, pause. It's okay to just pause. Don't overreact, don't be like, alright? And don't completely discontinue the activity. Just pause. Pause and then reset. So we've cleared the table. Great, because she threw items. If she threw items, we need to make sure that we're going to allow her to throw. The reinforcer also needs to be inaccessible, right? Because the worst thing that could have happened is she threw it and then she grabbed that dinosaur over there, right? Because now she's reinforced her own problem behavior. Yeah? Great, you paused. No, the item is on the floor. It's not that critical that right now you get up and go get the item. You notice that? No, you need to reset and regain control here. The item can stay there, that's fine. Clear the table, blah, blah, blah. Focus on her right now. She's already engaging her, so I'm not too concerned that the continued engagement is a problem, because it was already in place before the behavior. The only concern I would have is if you're like, what? Why did you do that? Why did you do the thing on the floor? That's added attention for the behavior. What we're going to do is we're going to ignore the behavior of throwing, but regain control with the child. What are some ways you think you could regain control?
They're not noticing. She's not making eye contact. She's chewing her cud. She is moving. It's Jamaican. She's chewing her cud. You understand? You understand chewing cud? Yeah. And she is looking all over, really not making any eye contact with me, which is completely out of my range. But anyway, what I will do, based on the medical knowledge, I will maybe put my hand here and see if I can make eye contact with her. You know, you're looking very ready for class today. How are you? Maybe have a conversation and see if she will look. And then that is what we will work on before we go back to the
original lesson. So notice I said you're pausing, but you're not completely moving away with the lesson. You're going to come back to it, right? No, not yet. Hold on. So behavior has occurred. It's not major. I'm not concerned about safety right now. She just threw something on the floor. Usually, best practice is you will have a relationship with the student before you start teaching, right? Relationship building is like the glue between a teacher and a student. If you don't have a relationship with the student, you shouldn't be teaching them. I know that sounds harsh, but that's my core principle. So in the beginning, with any client, the first couple of sessions is just relationship building. And that means getting to know the child, finding out what they like, which is why I have a bag of things they like, because I learned about it, right? Doing fun things with them, games, peekaboo, because I did high five, low five, oh, you missed it, right? Being fun and playful, we'll touch on play-based teaching later. But the idea is you already have an established relationship before you begin. And an established relationship is a foundation under which you're able to manage behaviors effectively. If you don't have a good relationship with that student, with that child, and you're trying to manage their behaviors, it will backfire on you. Especially if you've been using punishment strategies in the past, or the child just doesn't, they don't have a liking to you or affinity to you. Yeah? So it might sound a little cheeky, you're like, so much my children need to like me. It would be great if they did. But it doesn't mean they like you because you always give them what they want or you allow them to avoid work. No. They like you because you take the time to know them. They like you because you consider their feelings, you consider their states. I don't know, she could be hungry. Or maybe her mother gave her a telling this morning and now she comes for a lesson with you and you want to give her more instruction on top of that. You know, what's that? 3 minutes, right? It could be so many different things. The point here though is if you build a relationship, you can easily redirect. So if she's thrown something on the floor, you clear the table, you put the reinforcer away. Now you need to re-establish relationship, check in beautifully. Hey, you okay? What's happening? Are you sure you're ready to learn right now? You check in, you re-establish the reinforcer. We're about to do a lesson. And you had chosen, this one, right? You had chosen, it was this one? You didn't choose it? Ooh. Alright. So that means you need to actually have her choose first, but choose without the stimuli. Okay. Yeah, without blocks. So we're about to do a lesson, and I know you really love dinosaur, and you really love this, and you really love that, so don't be too close, right? But we have to do the lesson first and then you get the other thing. Which of these do you want? And she chooses a post game. Cool, yeah. I had a kid who chose laminated strips of paper as reinforcement. We used it. It worked. It is, right? So she chose a clothespin, and she likes to put it on her clothes. I would have more clothespins if clothespins was a thing. Put it on my clothes too, put it on my hair. Be silly. Be silly, guys. You're adults, be silly. Put it all over you, right? Make a game of it, play with it for a little bit, then get it back from her. All right, my turn. And then immediately go into your lesson. First, we're gonna do some colors, and then you can get back your posting. Sounds good? Sounds good. Yay!
Alright, so let us see. I know purple is your favorite color. Really like this one. Alright, you want to go ahead and pick it up and say you can pick up the red one? No? Hold on.
Pause. The SD is, we're using red? The SD is give me red. So, give me red. So as soon as you put them on the table, just say give me red. And then fully prompt because you're gonna start with a full physical. No, that's not red. And that's not giving me. Alright, let's try one more time. You adjust. So she's choosing from, she's literally playing with all of the stuff. What prompt do you think we should probably try starting with? Hand over hand. Oh, awesome. Alright, she's still grabbing for other things. So what do you think we should probably try starting? Remove the others. Great. Go on. See the SD? Then fully prompt. Okay, she seems resistant to physical prompting. What do you think I give you this morning, Tisha? Alright. See the child, right? So, if they're distracted by distractors, you remove them. Start with just what you want. You can re-establish the reinforcer if you need to get more motivation. Don't actually give it to her though, just re-establish it. Remember, we're working for this. First, give me red. Awesome, red. I mean, if that's the case, assess, maybe she needs to build a relationship with someone, who knows, that's fine. But the reason we're continuing with this particular lesson is because behavior occurred, possibly for escape. We don't want to reinforce the escape by completely removing the task. So we re-engage, re-establish motivation to get a reinforcer that we think is going to be effective, and then we come right back to the task. In a case like this, as soon as I get any kind of cooperation from her, I'm going to give her the reinforcer and just stop. But I need to get cooperation first. SD, give me red. We're going to start with you are a little resistant to the physical prompting earlier. So I would suggest stepping back from physical and maybe using gesture prompting or even positional. Yeah. Physical prompts are often used in one-to-one instruction, but they don't have to be used all the time. So if you can avoid it, I suggest avoiding using physical prompts only unless absolutely necessary. Yeah? So it's because of all of the hullabaloo that was going on here, we're gonna do away with the physical and try something less intrusive but still effective. SD? Praise?
Good job.
That's red. She doesn't want high five. That's okay. Live back. Yeah! You can take pictures. I remember, I'm right. I had a kid. How old was he? I think he was like 4. And I don't remember one year. I got super excited because I didn't know I get excited, right? I got super excited and it was crazy. And I was like, oh, it's cute. So we did it again, and literally this was my praise. Because you want to give it, but you don't want to be too loud. That's fine, right? Still give it. And still show that excitement. So you need red. You did gesture before. Praise. Yay, good job. Say give me red again and do point instead. Beautiful. Praise. Again, independent this time. Yeah. I see where you're going. Keep control of the reinforcement, guys. feedback in here if that helps. Alright, I also will have like, alright, that was that gestural prompt though. You did this? You had it done this first and then you did this. No, have it. There you go, beautiful. Great question. Do you give the reinforcer, the tangible one, after every trial or at the end? It's best to give it at the end when you're all done. But remember, I had said your minimum trials 5. That's usually what I apply for best practice. It's 5. If you have a child who is having a hard time staying seated for 5 trials, you can start with less and then give the reinforcer after 2 or 3 trials. But you're always trying to build up their tolerance. The benefit of DTT2 is that the more you can build their tolerance for instruction at the table, it carries over into the classroom, right? So you start with maybe just 1 trial and then a reinforcer, 2 trials and then a reinforcer, 3 trials, reinforce, 5. You build it up to 10 max, I usually see, and then you get your tangible. But the tangible comes when you're done. Another benefit of giving the tangible when you're done is that usually the child enjoys that reinforcing thing. You don't want to have to then take it back from them to then do another set quickly. So give it to them when you're done, and then they also get to go on a break. Then you can do another set later on. I brought this with me. You can use something like this or an apron, or if you have hands with pockets, if you're allowed to wear those, I don't know what I today. Where you can keep your stuff in there. Keep your reinforcers in pockets. I usually have a jacket with pockets. So I stuff the reinforcers in my pockets. So I can, thank you so much. So I can move around easily and pull out things like my magician, right? Whenever I need to. Alright, so that's DTT. We need to take a break now. Any questions? Any other questions about DTT? Is that clear? You guys do it, don't? Yeah, tell me, man, you do it. I'm just giving you some structure in terms of how it's done, how you feed, your interval, your time interval is important. Present your SD, very clear SD. Limit the language. You don't need to be like, all right, we're going to do your lesson now, and you're going to have to do this, and I'm putting out the things, and I want you to listen to what I have to say, and then you make a choice, all right? And then remember that, too much. Put it out, and just give me SD. Give me, point to. Right? Very simple, very clear. Notice also I say, give me the book, or give me the plate. I didn't say, give me the plate that you usually eat with when right? Just give me the plate. Cool. Oh, the toy? So in that moment, they had thrown it away. It was on the floor. Did somebody take it over? Okay, sweet. So usually when I'm cleaning up from session, I just pack up the toy. I ignored it. How do I need to have it? What was the function of the behavior? The function of the behavior was escape. If I don't bring or attention, right? If I don't go into, alright, remember you had thrown the block earlier in the session? Remember, when they threw the block, we had rebuilt rapport, re-engaged, got motivation, did more trials, got something, a whole heap of things happened. So if at the end though, I'm bringing them back to that and bringing attention to it. Oh, remember when you threw the block, you need to go back and pick up the block. You don't have to. The only time we would do, we call that overcorrection. The only time you do overcorrection is if the purpose is to actually teach a skill. In ABA, anytime we intervene on behavior, the goal is always to teach something. So if I'm going to teach them to clean up, then I might do that, right? If you make comments and you don't think, but that's an actual lesson for cleaning. If it's to respond to behavior in the moment, the more important thing is keeping her focused, keeping her settled, getting her engaged in the lesson, and actually following through. The alternative to throwing the stimuli on the floor is participation. Instead of throwing, I want her to participate. So my focus is when she's participating, I reinforce that. While the problem behavior of throwing is on extinction. You see that? And it sounds like, why? What's the need to? Our own adult, tendency that we need to go, we have to talk about it and tell them that that's not how it's done. That you give it so much attention to the behavior that you're possibly just reinforcing it. Yeah? Focus on what you want them to do instead and reinforce that heavily. Cool? The next session, what you might do is when you present your targets or your stuff, you might then say to them, are we about to do our targets? And remember, you chose dinosaur, so after we do this, you do dinosaur, okay? And we'll only get dinosaur if you stay focused and listen to Auntie's instructions and do what we say, all right? Sounds good? I'm not even going to talk about the throwing. From a psychological standpoint, the more I talk about her throwing, the more she will throw. Because that's all she can think about now, her throwing. Yeah? I don't want you to throw because if you throw on the floor, it's going to be no consequences, punishment. Let's be more positive. Let's focus on the positive. Yeah? But again, that's only because that wasn't a safety concern. It's a pretty simple behavior. We can't ignore it. If it was a safety concern, that's a whole different way that you approach it. Can I hand up?
When I'm packing up, I would say it's pack up time. It's pack up.
That would be skill. So you're focusing on teaching the skill of packing up. So let's say at the end of the session, the toy is on the ground, your stuff are on the table still. And this would be part of your routine. You're not just doing it today simply because they threw it. At the end of your session, you usually involve your students in packing up because you're teaching them the skill of packing up after the activity has ended. It must be skills focused, not as a reaction to the behavior. You see where I'm going? So if that's a skill that you do want the child to learn and incorporate in the routine, put it in the routine then. And if you want to just start it today, simply because you threw, fine. Do it every session, whether or not she throws the toy. You see where I'm going? So, all right, well, teacher, we're all done now. Let's pack up together. And you can say, oh, there's a block on the floor right here. Oh, can you get that one? Awesome. She gets that one. There's another block over here. Oh, what's about the okay, put it in the back. Great. I love how you help me to pack up. Reinforcement, please. And guess what? When you're all packed up, you put the block and the plates and everything in the bag, you can then get some time with the dinosaur. How about that? Sounds good? Alright, cool. This is the one block over here. You get it? Alright, this is the bag. Beautiful. Now you can have a dinosaur. I reinforce that. But it's skills focused, not punitive behavior focused. It's really about how you approach it. Yeah? Great point. Thanks for sharing that. Guys, please. I know sometimes when I might share a concept, you might go, but wait, what? It's really about the lens in which we look at it and then how we approach it. Yeah? Any other good questions? Really good questions. Alright, let's take a break. And what time do we come out? Yes, I get back. So, where is it?